Hi there, it's Carl Irwin, the Common Magician, and this is another trick that I do. This is a trick that a lot of people do, very common kind of little routine. My routine is very simple, very straightforward, just a couple of different phases here, but this is my variation of this particular trick. It's kind of one of those things that I will do most often when I'm asked to do something with a deck of cards that's shuffled in use. It's right there, and someone asks me to show something. This is what I will do. I don't like pick-a-card tricks. It's not that I don't like them. I don't do very many of them. My feeling is that people get somewhat annoyed when you do pick-a-card. It's like, I've seen this before. I'm going to pick a card. You're going to find the card. So I tend to avoid those type of tricks. If I have to have a card selected, I don't do a lot of selected card magic anyway, but if I have to have a card selected, I will usually say think a card, or very commonly I will say go ahead and name any card that you see in the deck. So, for example, I would have them name some card that they see somewhere in the middle. They might say, like, the 8 of Hearts or something like that. So I note that there's an 8 of Hearts and there's only one 8 of Hearts. There are other 8s in the deck, but only one 8 of Hearts, and it's right here in the center. Now, I note that I am not going to shuffle the deck. I'm not going to cut the deck, but something very unusual is going to happen. If we give it a little bit of a shake, you'll see that that 8 of Hearts comes directly to the top of the deck, just like that. And I'll note that we can do this. You'll see that I set it in there the wrong way. It actually is going in to the center of the deck. If I push it in there, you'll see that it's actually in there facing the wrong way. You can see as we look through, 8 of Hearts, it's right here, right in the middle, right where we found it before. There's no other 8 of Hearts in there. There's only that one, 6 of Clubs on the top. And you'll see what happens if we give it a shake. It comes directly to the top. Very unusual phenomenon. Now, some people assume that there's been some kind of a force, like I made you pick the 8, and that I'm using some other card there. But it's just very important that we clarify that there's only one 8 of Hearts. There's no other 8 of Hearts in the deck, only that one. Very, very clear. Watch this. We're going to try this again. I'm going to show you exactly what happens, and we'll do it very slowly. If I take the 8, and I'll put it down here close to the bottom, we only need a few cards, so it's easier to see if we use just about half of the deck. So we place your 8 into the deck. You can see it going in right here. We slide it in, and you watch. What happens really is that the card just melts up through the deck very slowly. You see it happen right there. And you can see it's already happened. It's on the top of the deck. Take a look. Wait a minute. Let me try that again. Maybe it needs a few more minutes. If you see, if you just wait, it will melt up to the top of the deck. And you can see, there it is. I see it now. Well, I know what's going on. You see, this isn't the top of the deck. This isn't the top of the deck, right? The top of the deck is over there. That's the top. And if you look there on the top, you'll see there is your 8 of Hearts. So that's my general rendition of Ambitious Card. I only do a couple of phases like that. I always end with that one. I know there's, the pop-up card and all kinds of interesting visual things to do. I see a lot of people trying to end the Ambitious Card routine with card to wallet. I never quite understood that, given the context of the Ambitious Card as the plot. If you're not doing it as the Ambitious Card, meaning it wants to come to the top, you could do, like I mentioned on the last video, a card to impossible location. An Ambitious Card are really the same thing. So that kind of works. But I often hear people referring to this as the Ambitious Card, or they note that the card always wants to come to the top of the deck. I see, personally, for me, and I know a lot of people do this, but personally, I like to be consistent. I just want it to come to the top of the deck every time. And what I like to do is make the last one super impossible. They see their card go into the deck. They can see it right here in this last part. And then without touching it, and often I'll set this down 6 feet away on a table or something, near the spectator on the other side, I can say, that's the top of the deck, and then they can take a look and they find their card. So that's how I like to end it. Big fan of the spread call. I like to use that. I don't tend to use double lifts. I only do 3 phases like this. They don't catch on to the spreading because I'm only doing it a couple times. And I make a real big deal out of the fact that there's only one of them. Because my experience is that with magicians, I find that magicians are more likely to consider moves, right? Fairness in the cards and complex moves are at work. That's why magicians can often be fooled by marked cards, right, and various kinds of gaffes. Whereas a spectator often goes straight to the simplest answer. They often will think there is a duplicate, right? So they don't get fooled by the duplicate quite as easily. Now, I use duplicates a lot. I like to use that. But spectators often will suspect that. So it's natural to make a deal out of the fact that there's only one of what you chose. I'd let you pick anything from the middle. I didn't have you select a card face down. You picked the one that you wanted, and there's no other one there. So that's kind of how I justify the couple times that I have to spread the deck. One to choose, and then a couple to show, and then I end that way. So that's my variation of ambitious card routine, just a couple of phases, and that's it. I don't really go on and on. Some people will do 5, 6, 7 phases of this, and and all of them are, you know, progressively interesting or whatever, but that's not me, that's not my style. So anyway, a trick that I do, ambitious card routine. Good luck with that. Happy magicking.